I'm Jamie Covey, and this is my story. I have a variety of jobs. Something I get to talk about a lot is I get to teach high school, but I also get to serve our country in the Navy Reserve. And one of the things that I think God's really put in my life lately is this idea of burden. Maybe God's trying to get me to focus on the non-burden, but this year I received notification from the Navy that it's my turn to deploy again. It's been almost 10 years since I've been home since my last deployment, so that's a really long break. So I've been feeling a lot of burden and leaving my kids, and what am I going to do about a teacher? What am I going to do about my kids? What am I going to do about my family? What am I going to house, to this, to that, to this, and that? After finally getting to a point where I felt like I could process this deployment and I could prepare to tell my kids and I had a plan in place, and you start to accept it. It takes a little time, but you start to accept it. We found out that my mom is diagnosed with breast cancer. I asked my mom if I could talk about her diagnosis, and she said, yes, just make sure everybody gets their mammogram. So PSA, ladies, if you're over 40 and you're high risk, please go get your mammogram. So you're welcome, Mom. At school every year, I get to introduce kind of the lessons in love that I've learned in the Navy in my life to the high school kids. And I've been running this fundraising campaign for years that has to do with a nonprofit organization called Carry the Load. The purpose of Carry the Load is to bring back the real meaning of Memorial Day. So I get to talk to kids about remembering those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. I made a deal with them years ago, and I've kept the deal all these years. There's a bucket in my room, and the deal is for every $100 that they drop in the bucket, I'll teach an entire school day with 70 pounds on my back. That 70 pounds is to represent somebody who didn't come home. And I chose 70 pounds because last time I deployed, I weighed all my gear before I left. It comes in around 70 pounds. And so the 70 pounds is symbolic to me for somebody who can no longer carry their weight, that I would be glad to carry it for them. After I made the announcement to my students that I was going to have to deploy, it was a very emotional thing for them, emotional thing for me. Several of my kids approached me and said, we have a proposal for you. This last week, I got to watch my children, one student at a time, scoop rice out of my backpack and take their little snack bag and a piece of my uniform, a couple hundred little bags of rice floating around in backpacks of high school children because they wanted to carry symbolically their portion, maybe what I saw as a burden. That for them doesn't seem to feel like a burden. God was teaching me through these kids and through my family, one scoop at a time. Jamie, that's not yours. If you'd asked me, I could have told you that. Matthew 11:28-30 is something I've leaned on a long time, but I had kind of forgotten to lean. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I'm gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your weary souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. That's so comforting that in this moment that I feel so much pressure that I don't have to. I just gotta refocus and remember that these burdens are not mine, and my community is going to pray over me and cheer me on, and it's going to be okay.